Hello dear student, I am Dr. Vasant Boraste from Department of Commerce, KTHM College, Nasik. In this video, I will discuss about the Accounting Standard 10. In the last video, I have already discussed with you that Accounting Standard 5, which is concerned with net profit for the prior period items and changes in accounting policies. The Accounting Standard 10 is related with PPE. In your syllabus, there is another accounting standard that is AS14 and AS21, where AS14 is accounting for amalgamations and AS21 is consolidated financial statement. Today, we are going to discuss about the accounting standard 10. So, what is accounting standard 10? AS10 is PPE. In short, it is known as PPE, that is property, plant and equipment. This new accounting standard 10 is combination of AS6 and AS10. Earlier, this accounting standard was known as accounting for fixed assets. Now, AS10 is a combination of AS6 and AS10. So, this is nothing but the AS6, which is depreciation accounting, which has been gone, and AS10, which was related with accounting of fixed asset, accounting for fixed assets. So, AS10 and AS6 now merge, and now the new accounting standard has been formed, that is PPE, that is property, plant and equipment. So AS6 has been gone. Now there is no AS6 and only AS10 is there, but the name is changed. This new AS10 is a combination of AS6 and 10. Actually, there are a lot of changes happens in accounting standard 10, and those are logical and relevant in today's context. So today I will discuss about the AS10. So what is that? Accounting Standard 10, Property, Plant and Equipment. First one was AS10, that is depreciation accounting. Second was AS10, that is accounting for fixed asset. So these are two accounting standards. Now these are not in existence. Instead of this, the new accounting standard has been formed, that is AS10, which is related with property, plant and equipment. In earlier, that is AS6, which was concerned with only depreciation accounting, and AS10 was concerned with only accounting for fixed asset. But now AS10 is concerned with property, plant and equipment. In short, it is known as PPE. So here property, plant and equipment related issues are discussed in detail. So today we'll get started and discussion around this and a broadly view about fixed asset, where focus on tangible fixed assets, because intangible fixed assets are discussed in AS22, and hence I will explain more about tangible fixed asset. So basically PPE talks about fixed asset, and the fixed assets are concerned with tangible fixed assets. So PPE stands specifically concerned with tangible fixed asset, while intangible fixed assets are discussed in AS22. The standard says that these assets generate some economic benefit. It should be and it should be beyond 12 months. So this is AS10, property, plant and equipment. What is the objective of PPE, or what is the objective of AS10? The basic objective of these standards is to prescribe the accounting treatment for property, plant and equipment. So the prescription of accounting treatment for property, plant and equipment is more important here, and this is the basic and core objective of this accounting standard 10. Property, plant and equipment are tangible items. Property, plant and equipment, that is PPE, are tangible items, and that includes are held for use the production or supply of goods or services, for rental to others, or for administrative purposes, and are expected to be used during more than a period of 12 months. So this is the basic condition, that is The property, plant and equipment are tangible items. As I earlier mentioned, the property, plant and equipment accounting standard 10 deals with fixed asset, but fixed assets are related with tangible item. However, intangible items are concerned or mentioned in the accounting standard 22. So, the tangible items are explained over here. Are the items are production or supply of goods or services for rental to others or for administrative purposes, and are expected to be used more than a period of 12 months. So period of 12 months is more important here in case of property, plant and equipment. Thus, it includes assets used for selling and distribution, finance and accounting, personnel and other functions of an enterprise. Items of property, plant and equipment may also be acquired for safety of environmental reasons. So, the basic condition of PPE is it should be a tangible items and production or supply, it should be used for production or supply of goods or services. Say for example, your business brought an asset, or you can say a purchase and machinery of rupees 1 crore. So the machinery is purchased for production of goods or services, whatever it may be. Suppose it produce a shoe. That means production of shoes is the machinery used for producing the shoes. So it is used for production, or it may be for a rental to others or for administrative purposes. And the machinery should be used during more than a period of 12 months. So these are the basic conditions for property, plant and equipment. So AS10 deals with the applicability, or we can say the applicability of AS10 is AS10 deals with property, plant and equipment. Most important, it deals with property, plant and equipment. Property stands for any kind of property which is used for, as I earlier mentioned, it is used for production or reproduction of goods or services. Then it is issued by Institute of Chartered Accountants of India, that is ICI. Then it is applicable to all types of enterprises. AS10 is applicable to all types of enterprises. Each and every organization has to follow the AS10. These standards should be applied in accounting for property, plant and equipment. So these are the basic applicability of AS10. AS10 property, plant and equipment, that is PPE, does not apply to. As I earlier mentioned in the last slide that AS10 is applicable to what? To deals with property, plant and equipment issued by ICI, applicable to all types of enterprises, and standards should be applied in accounting for property, plant and equipment. In the same way, it does not apply, most important, it does not apply to whom? First, biological asset. What is biological asset? A living animal or plant related to agricultural activity other than bearer plant. The standards apply to bearer plant, but it does not apply to the procedure on bearer plants. So, what is a living or a plant? What is a biological asset? A living animal or plant means what? Suppose hens in a poultry farm or goat in a goat farm are called as a living animal or plant. What is agricultural activity? An agricultural activity, it is the management by an enterprises of the biological transformation and harvest of biological asset for sale for conversion or into agriculture produce or into additional biological assets. So these are agricultural activity. Say for example, a farmer producing a tomato, it is called as an agricultural activity. So another thing is that this standard applies to bearer plant but does not apply to the procedure on bearer plant. So what is bearer plant? Accounting standard 10, that is property, plant and equipment, PPE, does not apply to whom? These standards applies to bearer plant but does not apply to the procedure on bearer plant. So what is bearer plant? Say for example, here you can see bearer plant is a plant that is used in the production or supply of agriculture produce, is expected to bear produce for more than period of 12 months and has a remote likelihood of being sold as agriculture produce except for incidental scrap sales. Say for example, mango tree. So mango tree is a bearer plant, benefits for multiple times. This is also one of the condition. So if the bearer plant is there, the standards applies to bearer plant, but it does not apply to the procedure on bearer plant. Second one is wasting assets including mineral rights, expenditure on the exploration for the extraction of minerals, oils, natural gas and similar non-regenerative resources. Say for example natural gas or oil is there, so on that or mines are there, in that case PPE does not apply. Third one is assets cover under under AS19. So AS19 is concerned with leases, and in that case depreciation charges charge as per AS10. So in that case leases that is mentioned in AS19, assets does not cover under AS19 does not apply the AS10, but in case of depreciation or for charging depreciation AS10 should be applied. So what is measurement and recognition or initial cost? Basically, at the time of recognition, an item of PPE, that is property, plant and equipment, that qualifies for recognition as an asset should be measured at its cost. So what is that? So element of cost. First one is purchase cost. Purchase cost is what? Purchase price, that is including import duties, taxes and less trade discount and rebates. So this is purchase price. Second one is directly attributable and necessary cost. Directly attributable cost to bring the assets to the location and condition necessary for it to be capable of operating in the manner intended by management. Say for example, if you bought a machinery from abroad, and for in that case the purchase price is suppose 1 crore rupees, the import duty or import duty is suppose 10%, so 1 crore plus 10% amount will be added, and in that case the directly attributable and necessary cost is when you brought that machinery to the location of plant or location of company, at that time whatever cost is beared it should be added in that machinery. Then cost of dismantling and restoration. The initial estimate of cost of dismantling and removing the items and destroying the sites on which PP is located. So these all will be called as initial cost or measurement at recognition. Another point is that depreciation. So what is depreciation? As you know the definition of depreciation: componentization, each part or component of an atom of PP which has significant cost has to be depreciated separately. So what is depreciation? It is decrease in the value of asset due to wear and tear in the normal course of business. So this is most important. Whatever you have, assets you have, it is under a PPE, that is AS10. If there is a wear and tear or normal course of action, at that time the asset should be depreciated. The next one is depreciable assets. To whom we can call a depreciable asset? These assets are expected to be used for more than one accounting period. From the accounting point of view, the most important thing is that on which you want to charge a depreciation, that asset should be used more than one accounting period, one accounting year or a period. Have a limited useful life. It is most important condition. Then have held for the use in production of goods and services. So these are the basic conditions for depreciable assets on which we can charge the depreciation. So scope of accounting standard 10, that is property, plant and equipment. So what is the scope? AS10 is applicable to all depreciable assets except forest and plantations, wasting assets, minerals and natural gases, expenditure on research and development, fictitious assets, that is goodwill or any other fictitious assets, livestock, cattle, animal husbandry. So these are some things we can say that these are applicable. These are exceptions for AS10. Other than this, the AS10 is applicable to each and every fixed asset or property, plant or equipment. So after that, these are some example of directly attributable cost. As I earlier mentioned in the second last slide, attributable cost. The cost of employee benefit arising directly from the construction or acquisition of the item of PPE, it will be called as attributable cost. Cost of site preparation, initial delivery and handling cost, installation and assembly cost, Professional fees. As I earlier mentioned that if you brought an machinery of 1 crore, so whatever employee benefit arising directly from that construction or acquisition will be added. Cost of site preparation, initial delivery and handling cost. Suppose you want to brought that machinery from custom office to your plant. At that time some initial handling cost is there, and it should be added. Some professional fees is required. At that time the fees should be added in that asset, or we can say directly attributable to that cost. Then cost of testing whether the asset is functioning properly or not. After deducting the net proceeds from selling any items produced while bringing the assets to that location and condition, such as a sample produced when testing equipment. Suppose you have brought an machinery which is producing the mouse. At that time you have to check that machinery is working properly or not. So the initial testing, it should be added in the attributable cost. Then there are certain exclusions to the directly attributable cost, as administration and other general overheads or expenses, cost of opening of new facility or business, cost of introducing a new product or service, cost of conducting business in new location or with a new class of customers. So including cost of staff training also. These are some exclusions for the attributable cost. PPE acquired in exchange for non-monetary assets or assets or an combination of monetary and non-monetary assets. The cost of such an items of PPE is measured at a fair value unless the exchange transaction lacks of commercial substance or the fair value of neither the asset received nor the given up is realizable, measurable. So the acquired items are measured in this manner even if enterprises cannot immediately derecognize the assets given up. If the acquired items are not measured at fair value, their cost is measured at the carrying amount of the assets given up. So these are some PP acquired in exchange for non-monetary assets or an combination of monetary and non-monetary assets. So with this I would like to say there are some subsequent cost. What is subsequent cost? Cost of day-to-day servicing. What is cost of day-to-day servicing? When you are purchasing any kind of machinery, at that time these are primarily the cost of labor and consumable and maybe include the cost of small parts are not recognized as PP, for example repairs and maintenance. So these are cost of day-to-day servicing. Second one is replacement cost. So what is replacement cost? Replacement cost is the cost of replacing part is recognized in the carrying amount of PP if the recognition criteria are met. The carrying amount of the replaced parts is derecognized. And third one is regular major inspection cost. So which is regular major inspection cost, known as it is recognized in the carrying amount of PP if the recognition criteria are met. Any remaining carrying amount of the cost of the previous inspection is derecognized. So this is the subsequent cost. After that, you can see here the accounting of revaluation. Increase in an asset carrying amount as a result of a revaluation is credited directly to the owner's interest under the heading of revaluation surplus. So revaluation surplus should be added to the under heading of revaluation. However, the increase should be recognized in the statement of profit and loss account, or to the extent of reverse revaluation decrease of the same assets previously recognized in the statement of profit and loss account. So this is accounting of for revaluation. Decrease in an asset's carrying amount as a result of revaluation is recognized in the statement of profit or loss. However, the decrease should be debited directly to the owner's interest under the heading of revaluation surplus to the extent of any credit balance existing in the revaluation surplus in respect of that asset. So these are the accounting for revaluation. This is theoretical part. So depreciation. What is depreciation? As I earlier mentioned, that the value or residual value of an asset due to wear and tear. Each part of an atom of PP with the cost that is significant to the relation to total cost of an atom should be depreciated separately, as I earlier mentioned. Every part or each and every machine will be depreciated separately. The depreciable amount should be allocated on a systematic basis over useful life. In the next slide, I will explain how depreciation is calculated systematically as per the basis of its useful life. So depreciation charge for each period should be recognized in the statement of profit and loss account unless it is included in the carrying amount of another asset. So whatever depreciation you are going to be charged, it should be mentioned or recognized in the profit and loss account. Residual value and useful life to be reviewed at each balance sheet date. Any change in accounting for a change in accounting estimate as per accounting standard 5. So as I earlier mentioned, residual value and useful life of the machinery, it should be calculated and mentioned in the balance sheet. Depreciation method used should reflect the pattern in which assets' future economic benefits are expected to be consumed by the enterprises. So this is the basic requirement that the asset should be purchased for future economic benefits. Whatever assets you are going to be purchased, it should be used for future economic benefits. So it should be a machinery, it may be a air condition, it may be a furniture, it may be a building, it may be a plant, or whatever it may be. The depreciation method should be reflect the pattern. So in the next slide I will explain the depreciation method and how the methods are used for depreciating the assets. Depreciation method to be reviewed at least at each financial year, and any change in accounting for a change in accounting estimate as per AS5. Depreciation method includes SLM or WDV and units of production method. So what is SLM and WDV? I will explain it later on. So you can see here the retirements. Items of PPE retired from active use and held for disposal should be stated at the lower of their carrying amount and net realizable value. Any write down should be recognized immediately in the statement of profit or loss. So derecognition is that the carrying amount of an item of PPE should be recognized on disposal or when no future economic benefits are expected from its use of disposal. Gain or loss derecognition should be recognized in the statement of profit or loss unless AS19 requires otherwise in the sale of leaseback and should not be classified as revenue. Gain or loss on derecognition in the difference between the net disposable proceeds, if any, and the carrying amount of the recognized item of PP. So whatever PP is retired at that time, it should be mentioned in the statement of profit and loss. And what is derecognition? It should be carrying amount of PP should be derecognized or disposable or when no future economic benefits are expected from that particular asset. So you can see here the most important part of this accounting standard 10, that is accounting treatment for depreciation. As I earlier mentioned, depreciation is what? It is the value or residual value of particular assets as per the its wear and tear. So depreciation should be charged to the statement of profit and loss as it is a part of your profit which is kept aside for future generation of that particular asset, or we can say from that part you can buy a machine after a particular or estimated life of that particular asset. So the equation or formula of depreciation is very simple. Depreciation equal to cost of asset minus residual value or divided by useful life of asset. So the useful life of asset is, say for example, a machinery of rupees 10,000 is there. 10,000 is a cost of asset. After realization or after useful life, the asset will be sold for rupees 1,000. So 10,000 minus 1,000 divided by useful life is suppose 10 years. So 9,000 divided by 10, 9,000 divided by 10, 900 will be the depreciation. So methods of depreciation. There are two methods of depreciation. The method of depreciation should reflect the pattern of expected future economic benefit. As I earlier mentioned, and the basic of accounting standard 10 is expected future economic benefit. Whatever the assets you are going to purchase, it should have some expected future economic benefit. It should be consistent from one period to another. So methods of depreciation should be consistent from one period to another. Changes in the method of depreciation is permitted for compliance of statute, accounting standards, and for more appropriate presentation. So you can see here the methods of depreciation. So what is that? First one is straight line method and second one is diminishing balance method or written down value method. As I earlier mentioned, WDV, that is written down value method, and SLM, that is straight line method. In the straight line method, there is a change which is constant, and in the diminishing balance method, the change is decreasing. So these are two methods of depreciation. First one is straight line method and second one is diminishing balance method or WDV, that is written down value method. The straight line method is also known as fixed line method, or we can say fixed depreciation method. For example, machinery of rupees 1 lakh is depreciated by 10%. If we consider the straight line method, at that time the calculation will be different. And if we consider the diminishing balance method, at that time the calculation will be different. Here is the example of fixed or straight line method. Depreciation for 1 year at 10% will be 10,000. For second year 10%, 10,000. Third year 10%, 10,000. So this is the straight line method example where the depreciation is charged on a cost of asset at a particular rate, and it will be same for each and every year, which is 10,000. So it will be calculated on the cost of assets. But diminishing balance method uh, use the depreciation method as, say for example, 1 lakh machinery is purchased for rupees 1 lakh and depreciation is charged by 10%. It will be changed year by year. So in the first year, the depreciation is charged on the cost, that is 1 lakh. So on 1 lakh, you can see here the depreciation at 10% is 10,000. In the second year, the value of asset is decreased by 10,000 because when you purchase that asset, it was 1 lakh. After reducing that asset by 10,000, the assets value becomes 90,000, and on that 90,000 you are going to charge a 10% depreciation, that is 9,000. After charging the depreciation, 90,000 minus 9,000 depreciation, your assets value will be 81,000. So in the third year you will charge depreciation at 10% on 81,000, and which will be 8,100. So this is the difference, this is the basic difference between straight line method and diminishing balance method. Methods of depreciation, two method, that is straight line method and diminishing balance method. Some disclosures are there. Measurement are based on gross carrying amount. Second one is depreciation method use. Third one useful life and depreciable rates. Gross carrying amount and accumulated depreciation are more important part of this S10. So with this I would like to say thank you very much. In the next video I will explain some example of S10, that is depreciation related example. Uh, with this, I would like to conclude the AS10, that is property, plant and equipment. Thank you very much.